Welcome to today's Explainer. We're tackling something literally monumental today. You know, for billions of years, our Earth has been the ultimate cradle. It's birthed shifting continents, vast oceans, and these incredible civilizations, eventually paving the way for humanity to become the dominant species. But as powerful and as beautiful as our world is, scientists tell us it isn't immortal. It actually has a definitive cosmic expiration date. So today, we're exploring the fascinating and frankly, sometimes terrifying biography of Earth's destruction.
So, that brings us to the ultimate question. We spend a lot of time stressing about whether humanity can survive its own mistakes, right? But the real question, the much, much bigger question, is whether Earth can survive the violent cosmos. The universe holds several pretty terrifying possibilities for how our planet could ultimately meet its end, and the crazy part is, the process may have already begun.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with Earth's history of survival, then look at near-term threats, death by the sun, unpredictable cosmic dangers, the aftermath and escape, and finally, wrap up with why Earth matters today.
Let's start with Part 1, Earth's history of survival. Before we get into how the planet dies, we absolutely have to acknowledge just how incredibly tough it is. I mean, Earth has endured unimaginable violence to get to where it is today. Just look at this timeline. 4.5 billion years ago, Earth was literally just dust and gas surrounding a young sun. Over millions of years, it cooled, oceans appeared, and life finally emerged. Dinosaurs ruled for millions of years until a massive asteroid wiped them out 66 million years ago. And then, well, there's us. Humanity showed up only very recently in the grand scheme of things, yet we've totally transformed the planet. But long before we even arrived, Earth survived massive volcanic eruptions, extreme ice ages, and global extinctions. The planet definitely knows how to take a hit.
Moving right along to Part 2, near-term threats. Now, the planet itself, basically a fortress, but the systems that keep human civilization running are actually incredibly fragile. Take this number, 66 million. It has been 66 million years since the last massive asteroid struck near modern-day Mexico. If a rock of that size, which, by the way, would be traveling at roughly 45,000 miles per hour, struck today, cities would vanish instantly. Massive tsunamis would completely wipe out coastlines, and human civilization as we know it could end within a matter of months. NASA is actively tracking these threats, of course, but space is highly unpredictable, and there are thousands of unseen objects roaming around in the dark right now.
Asteroids aren't the only near-term threat, though. We can really categorize our planetary dangers into fire versus ice. On the fire side, beyond asteroids, we have threats completely of our own making. Think global nuclear war and climate change, which bring rising temperatures, melting ice caps, and global famine. But Earth could just as easily die in ice. A massive volcanic eruption or a sudden shift in ocean currents could trigger an extreme ice age. In fact, scientists think Earth may have once been a snowball Earth, literally frozen solid from pole to pole.
And crazily enough, human actions could actually trigger one of these ice scenarios. A worldwide nuclear war wouldn't just cause instant fiery devastation. It could plunge us straight into a nuclear winter. This is a grim period of abnormal cold and darkness where soot blocks out the sunlight for years, causing global crop failures and collapsing temperatures worldwide. The thing to remember here is, in these scenarios, whether by fire or ice, Earth physically survives as a rock floating in space. But the human world? That would be completely erased.
Let's look at Part 3, Death by the Sun. All right, we are shifting scales dramatically here, from human-made threats to the absolute, inescapable certainty of our very own star. Just take a second to process this number, 600 million. Right now, the sun gives us all our warmth and energy, but stars change. Every single second, our sun is burning through 600 million tons of hydrogen fuel. And as it ages, it's just growing hotter, brighter, and way more unstable.
So what does this actually mean for us? Well, it sets up a pretty terrifying sequential progression for our planet. In step 1, the sun simply burns hotter. By step 2, which is about 1 billion years from now, it gets so hot that Earth's oceans will actually begin evaporating. Imagine that, entire oceans slowly turning into steam. Rivers disappear, the rain stops forever, and food chains completely collapse until Earth is just a dry wasteland. Kind of like Venus. But step 3 is the real grand finale. In about 5 billion years, the sun runs out of hydrogen and expands into a red giant, leading straight to step 4, where Earth is literally melted down or swallowed whole.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer scale of a red giant. The sun will expand so massively it'll swallow Mercury and Venus entirely.
The sky from Earth would become a waking nightmare. I mean, the sun would look gigantic, taking up most of the horizon. Temperatures would hit thousands of degrees. Mountains would literally melt like wax. The atmosphere would just burn right off into space, and the rocks beneath our feet would turn to glowing lava. Earth will either be swallowed completely or just left behind as a scorched, dead rock orbiting a dying star.
Which brings us to part 4, unpredictable cosmic dangers.
You know, even if we somehow figured out a fix for the sun, the deep universe is an incredibly violent place. Out there in the dark, there are wandering black holes. If one of those happened to pass near our solar system, its gravity could completely wreck Earth's orbit, tossing us into freezing deep space or pitching us straight into the sun. Then you have gamma-ray bursts. These are massive explosions from dying stars that could instantly strip away our entire ozone layer from thousands of light years away, letting deadly solar radiation flood the surface. Or a nearby supernova could do the exact same thing. We're really only surviving right now because Earth happens to be sitting in a very delicate, highly temporary cosmic balance.
Let's look at part 5, the aftermath and escape.
So, imagine for a second what happens to the world we've built after we're gone. If humanity just vanished tomorrow, the silence would be profound. No lights, no music, just wind blowing through empty ruins. In 10 years, the roads crack and those giant glass skyscrapers start to collapse. In 1,000 years, forests and animals fully reclaim our concrete jungles. By 10,000 years, only the absolute most massive stone monuments, like the pyramids or deep underground tunnels, will still be around. And after 100,000 years, nature will have erased almost every single sign that we ever existed here at all.
To avoid this whole scenario, visionaries like Elon Musk and various space agencies dream of making humanity a multiplanetary species. Colonizing Mars, heading out to the stars. But escaping Earth is, to put it incredibly mildly, difficult. Space is exceptionally deadly. It's defined by lethal radiation, extreme cold, a total lack of oxygen, and just unimaginable distances between stars.
And here is the real kicker. Even if we conquer all of that, even if we spread across the entire galaxy, we can't escape the universe itself. Astrophysics basically gives us 3 main theories for how the whole universe dies. You've got the Big Freeze, where everything just expands forever until all the stars burn out, leaving this cold, dark void. Then there's the Big Crunch, where gravity eventually pulls everything back together into a single point of unimaginable heat. Or there's the Big Rip, where space itself accelerates so violently it tears apart galaxies, planets, and eventually even atoms. If any of these pan out, Earth's destruction is really just a sneak preview of the universe's final fate.
Finally, part 6, why Earth matters today.
I know, we've covered some incredibly heavy existential stuff today. But thinking about the end of the world shouldn't just fill us with a sense of dread. It should absolutely fill us with awe. Think about it. In a universe filled with freezing voids, deadly radiation, melting stars, and black holes, human life is miraculously rare. Every single sunset you see, every bustling city, every song, every dream, and every human story exists right now on this one tiny, fragile planet floating in the endless darkness.
Yes, okay, the planet won't last forever. But while it is here, and while we are here, humanity still has time. We have time to explore the unknown corners of our world and the stars above us. We have time to figure out how this crazy universe actually works. We have the time, and really the responsibility, to protect this world from those near-term threats we talked about, and to build an incredible future for the generations to come.
One day, millions or billions of years from now, Earth is going to vanish into cosmic history. But until then, this small blue planet remains our only home. And amidst all the violence of the universe, that might just be the greatest miracle of all.
So that leaves us with this final thought. Knowing that our time in this vast universe is finite, and knowing just how incredibly rare and beautiful our existence is, how will you protect our temporary, miraculous home today? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep looking up, keep asking questions.